Before Brendan Fraser became one of the most beloved comeback stories in Hollywood, he was everywhere. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Fraser was one of the highest-paid leading men in the world, starring in blockbuster franchises, romantic comedies, and action films that defined an entire generation. But here's something most people don't know. Brendan Fraser performed many of his own stunts, including dangerous wire work and physical scenes, which later contributed to multiple surgeries on his spine, knees, and vocal cords. Another little-known fact: despite his massive success, Fraser was notoriously shy, avoided Hollywood parties, and was uncomfortable with fame, something that quietly worked against him in an industry built on networking. Then, almost overnight, he vanished. This is the story of Brendan Fraser's meteoric rise, his devastating fall from Hollywood, the personal trauma that pushed him out of the spotlight, and the emotional, Oscar-winning comeback that no one saw coming. You're watching Spotlight Today 2.0. Let's begin.
One moment changed everything for Brendan Fraser. A moment that triggered silence, depression, and the slow collapse of a superstar career. And it happened far away from movie cameras. Brendan Fraser rose to fame in the 1990s and early 2000s, becoming one of Hollywood's most bankable and recognizable stars. Films like Encino Man, George of the Jungle, and The Mummy trilogy turned him into a global favorite almost overnight. Audiences connected with his mix of physical comedy, fearless action, and genuine emotional warmth. He felt relatable yet heroic, goofy yet brave. At his peak, Brendan wasn't just successful, he was everywhere. Studios trusted him, fans loved him, and his future seemed completely untouchable. But in 2003, everything changed in a way no one could see. At a hotel in Beverly Hills, Brendan says he was violated by Philip Burke, the former president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. According to Brendan, Burke grabbed him from behind with his left hand and touched him inappropriately, continuing to rub his finger along Brendan's lower back. Brendan later described feeling sick, shocked, and powerless, saying he felt like a little kid with a lump in his throat, thinking he was about to cry. The experience was so traumatic that he remembers every detail of that day clearly, even years later. Fear kept him silent. Brendan believed speaking out would destroy his career, so he only told his wife and his agent. Life moved on, but something felt wrong. Invitations to the Golden Globe Awards suddenly stopped. Since the HFPA hosted the event, Brendan couldn't help but suspect a connection, even though he never received any confirmation. His career momentum slowed, and the emotional weight of carrying that trauma alone pushed him into depression. Years later, during the Me Too movement, Brendan finally shared his experience publicly. Burke denied the allegation and called it fabricated, but by then, the damage to Brendan's confidence and mental health had already taken its toll. As his professional life declined, his personal life collapsed too. Brendan married actress Afton Smith in 1998 after meeting her at a party at Winona Ryder's house. They had 3 children together, but the marriage ended in 2007, with the divorce finalized in 2008. The court ordered Brendan to pay child support and alimony totaling nearly $900,000 per year. As his career stalled, the financial pressure became overwhelming. By 2013, he asked the court to reduce the payments, explaining that he barely had work and couldn't even support himself financially anymore. Physical pain played a massive role in his downfall. Brendan was known for performing his own stunts, especially in action films. That dedication slowly destroyed his body. Over several years, he underwent multiple surgeries, including a partial knee replacement, major spinal surgery, and vocal cord repair. While filming The Mummy, a hanging scene went terribly wrong when the rope tightened around his neck, cutting off his air for about 18 seconds. During The Mummy Returns, he damaged a spinal disc and cracked a rib. Desert scenes exposed him to sandstorms and dangerous animals like snakes, spiders, and scorpions, forcing the cast to drink special hydration mixtures just to keep going. Other projects were just as punishing. In Journey to the Center of the Earth, Brendan accidentally set himself on fire when magnesium ignited behind a wall during a scene. His screams weren't acting, they were real pain. For George of the Jungle, he starved himself to maintain his physique, cutting out carbohydrates so severely that he later admitted his brain felt starved too, leaving him unable to remember simple things like his ATM pin. Even earlier, while filming Airheads, he strained his voice singing and performing, which later contributed to vocal cord surgery. Despite continuing to try, roles dried up. Brendan appeared in smaller projects, including The Secret of Karma, a film about near-death experiences, something he deeply understood from his own life. In 2019, he appeared in the Bollywood film Line of Descent, embracing a completely different experience far from Hollywood. Then came the return fans called The Renaissance. Brendan stunned audiences as Charlie in The Whale, wearing a prosthetic suit that took 6 hours a day to apply and made him appear to weigh 272 kilograms. The role drained him physically and mentally, but it brought him back into the spotlight. After years of silence, Brendan Fraser wasn't just remembered, he was finally seen, respected, and celebrated again.
Brendan Fraser's story isn't just about Hollywood. It's about resilience, survival, and redemption. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more stories like this, from Hollywood rises, falls, and shocking comebacks, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching Spotlight Today 2.0. Check out the next video on your screen, and we'll see you there.